Okay. Hey guys, welcome to tonight's Team Spirit Union call. We have a very special guest, Miss Jessica Bryson, who is going to be sharing some of her best tips and practices on how she's consistent with social media, which is crucial to our business. Jessica's a three-star diamond, right?
Yep.
Yep. A brand new mommy, wife, and still an elementary school teacher, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Let's take it away, girl. I guess everybody mute themselves. Unless I have to do that.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Okay, thumbs up. So first, thank you for having me on your call, and I have to apologize. I wrote on the page, but if you hear a baby screaming or a dog barking, that's like the mayhem going on right now. Ev is battling against bedtime, so my husband is trying to keep her as quiet as possible for the length of this call. So I'm going to get right down to it. So first, thanks for having me on. It's always an honor to be invited on these calls and, just to share kind of what my story is and what's worked for me in the past and what can hopefully maybe help you grow your business to where you want it to go. But I wanted to just kind of first start off with my story. If you don't know how I got started, just a little bit of background of how I became a coach and how I've gotten to where I am now today. So like Ashley said, I'm an elementary school teacher. I teach first grade in Maple Shade, New Jersey, and I've loved teaching. I always kind of knew I was going to be in some aspect working with kids. My own is making a lot of chatter in the background. I kind of always knew that. So I graduated with a degree in psychology, but I went back. I was originally going for child psychology in a master's program, but decided to kind of go a different way working with kids. So as you probably know, as teachers, we don't make a huge salary that has, an unlimited earning potential, no matter how good of a teacher you think you may be. It doesn't matter on the pay scale. So I was actually working a few other part-time jobs. I was working my full-time job and I was tutoring on the side. And then I also was working part-time at Lululemon, which if you know that store, you really shouldn't work there if you're trying to make any money because you end up spending way more than you actually earn. But I happened to be working there one Saturday and I was working in the pants section, if you're familiar. So I was just kind of hanging out, talking to a few customers, and this girl walked in and, I watched her kind of walk around. It was a girl and a guy, and she was just kind of glowing. And so I pulled her aside and I said, hey, can I just ask, what kind of skincare do you use? Or like, what's your secret? Because there's a glow about you. I don't know what it is. And this person turned out to be Rose. And we had never met before. That's how our conversation started. And when Rose started talking about, she said, I just did a cleanse for 21 days. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds horrible. And she's like, it actually wasn't that bad. You eat food and everything. And she asked me if I'd ever heard of Shakeology before. And I don't even know if I've told her this. I kind of was like, oh yeah, I definitely heard of it. And I was like, I've never heard of that before. So when she started talking a little bit more about it, she gave me her contact information. And at that point, I had just gotten engaged and we were getting married the following fall. So I had kind of a summer break in between, when I was getting ready for the wedding and then gung-ho, better be dressed ready for the wedding that fall. So I knew I was looking for something. I've kind of always struggled with the ups and downs of my weight. And I was always kind of the chubby girl out of the group of friends, which I hated because I always wondered why they could eat whatever they wanted and not gain a pound. Well, that was me. So I really wanted to feel good and look good for my wedding. And so I came home that day from work and I sat with Dan and, we had wedding expenses. So I couldn't believe that I was even considering spending, it wasn't on sale at the time. It was $305 plus shipping and handling. So, it was an investment for me to consider. And I talked it over for 3 days. And finally I said, you know what, let's just give it a try. Worst case, I send it back, I get my money back. Worst case. Well, it was the best investment of my life. So what happened was I did the 21-day reset and I lost 16 pounds and 12 inches overall. And I felt incredible. For someone who has had severe like IBS my entire life, it was the first time I didn't feel bloated. I didn't look like I had a pregnant belly when I clearly was not pregnant. That struggle for me was solved by understanding how food can be medicine for us. And I didn't have to go to specialists anymore. So after that, I was working over the summer, of course, as a teacher. And I was working at, I guess it was like our after school program thing for summertime, summer camp. And I put up a post saying, if anybody has any jobs, like I can walk your dog, I can watch your house for you, I need all the money I can get because I have this wedding. Well, Rose messaged me and she goes, hey, Jess, you had such great results. Why not share and talk about it and see if, you can help some other people with that same kind of journey. So I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know if I could really be a coach. I can tell people about the product, but I was like, you know what? Let me just put it out there and see if anybody responds. Why not? Worst case is I put a picture of myself in a bikini and it goes into the Facebook graveyard a day later. Worst case scenario. So I shared a picture of before and after. I think I closed my laptop and ran away. I don't think I wanted to even see what people said. And what happened after that was my business organically started. And it was only by sharing on social media. So by posting one picture, boom, my business. So, in the beginning, it was crazy. I had a lot of conversations with my husband about how often I was on my phone because I was getting messages after messages after messages from people just because I was putting myself out there and letting people know of something that worked for me and, it could possibly work for you too. So at that point, I wasn't even inviting others to really become a coach. I was really just inviting them to become a challenger with myself because I had a goal of looking damn good in my wedding dress and I was going to get there and keep it there no matter what it took. So, I never felt more beautiful than I did on my wedding day, but most importantly, I never felt more comfortable in my own skin. So, that was how I got started into coaching. So if you didn't know my story and you didn't know how Rose and I met, it was honestly, I was searching for something and the universe paid me back that day when Rose walked into Lululemon. So, I was desperately looking for something and, called to the universe and it was answered. So that's how I got started. And that's why I think social media is such a big piece of my business because that is literally how it all got started. And so I'm a very visual person. And if I ramble and talk too fast, that's the Jersey girl in me. So just tell me to slow down or stop. Ashley, if you need me to elaborate on something. But I do have this little presentation. So I'm going to share my screen. So if you are dialing in, Ashley, this is being recorded so we can share it. Okay, perfect. So again, I don't want to keep you all night long because I could talk about social media all night long. But I've just got some bullets and some ideas and some tips. So really, if you have any questions while I'm going through it, just kind of throw your hand up or I'll pause in the middle and then, let me know what you're thinking. If it's stuff you're already doing, I'm sorry that I'm being repetitive, but hopefully these can be some tips that might just help, put a little edge on some new posting and some new material for you. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you and then let's see. Desktop. All right, can you guys see that? Ash, can you see my screen? And see how cute my little family is? So cute. Okay, sorry. Of course I had to do that. Let me just put this. Okay, so I'm going to keep it small just because when I go big, I tend to lose my train of thought and lose vision of all of you. So I'm just going to keep it right here and just go through. So like I was saying, I'm Jessica, if you don't know already. This is the before and after picture that started it all. So I wanted to share that with you just to kind of give you an idea. It was July 14th of 2013. So this was my before. And it wasn't terrible, but I was definitely like, check out the love handles. That's where I gained it immediately. But the difference between pictures is not only the weight or the inches, but it was definitely the feeling. I felt so incredible at the end of it. And by sharing this is what kind of started it all. So I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit about Instagram and Facebook. I don't know too much about YouTube, but I can certainly, if you want a conversation about it, we can do that separately. But focusing mainly on Facebook and Instagram. So when I think about social media and what it really can do for your business as far as the avenue of expanding your network, what you want to think about is Facebook is like your storefront. So we have a legit business. We have an opportunity to grow a business where you almost think, a brick and mortar store would need to eventually expand to a larger space. That's how you want to picture Facebook. It's your storefront. When people come to your Facebook page, it's an area that's available for your marketing, your advertising, your customer service, with people maybe telling how great of a coach you were. That's always a great thing to have up on your Facebook feed. It's also showing customer relations, how people interact with you. It's giving you free reviews because people are interacting and sharing their story on your page as well, maybe tagging you in some page, to go back to their story. And it's also great for referrals. That is your business. So when you treat your Facebook page as if it's welcoming someone into your storefront, it starts to kind of give more an insight of how much this really represents your business. So your personal page, you have a bunch of friends already. And maybe you don't. Maybe you don't have a ton of Facebook friends that you've connected with, but that is where you really want to use as the forefront of your business, because people have already decided that they like you because they friended you and they've accepted your friendship. And if they didn't like you, then they press decline. So this is already a warm market that's connected with you and gives you an opportunity to grow your business because you already have a captive audience. Because if they didn't like you, you wouldn't be friends. So because they like you already, they're going to see your posts. They're going to pay attention to your posts. So this is the biggest content area I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with and confused by. And I kind of just bulleted down some tips on what your non-negotiables are. So what I suggest is to post around at least 3 to 4 times a day. If you check out my page, there are some days where I've posted maybe 8 times if something is going on or something more I want to share, or since I had a baby, I post a lot more of that. But, you want to think about how you can also relate to other people in non-Beachbody ways. So you don't want to show up on Facebook and Beachbody vomit on everyone. Or you don't want to specifically share your sweaty selfies all day long, because people need to see a real insight into who you are, how you can help them, and how they can relate to you. So when you're sharing on Facebook or Instagram, which we'll get to a little bit later, you really want to think about when people go to your page, they give you almost a 30-second interview. Kind of rule of thumb. If someone you've friended and they're checking out your page, they're not going to spend a half hour looking at your profile, looking at your pictures, and really trying to figure out who this person is and why I should friend them or accept. What you want to do is give them a quick 30-second glimpse into who you are by focusing on some things that are really close to home. I always kind of give myself a general rule of 5. So I think of the 5 things that I want to represent myself. New mom, fitness and health, okay? Other hobbies that you might really enjoy, being outside, doing yoga, whatever it is that you may enjoy. It can be anything: kids, pets, fashion, family, arts. All of these things that are interest to you, you really kind of want to get them down to 5 main categories and kind of rotate between those 5 areas of focus for that time in your life. Okay, I'm not going to be sharing a link about how to knit because that's just not my thing. I would love to learn maybe eventually, maybe do anything, but save me some money on clothing for Ev. But, you really want to focus on things that are going to allow you to connect with people, that you have things in common with them, so that you really do build that genuine connection. So different ideas I put down here. If you can't see it, you can always refer back as far as what other things you can post, but make sure you're posting non-Beachbody related posts. You also want to try using some apps. So if you have like Photify, PicMonkey, PicPlay, Post, lets you do a video and a screenshot. PicLab, there's a ton of them. Rona Design is another one. Fancy up your photos. So sometimes if you're impulsive like me, my husband will probably very much agree that I'm impulsive. I want to like throw up a picture right away. As soon as I take that photo, I want to share it. But sometimes I have to reel myself back in and make sure that there is value behind it. And I'll talk about that next. Take it to one of the apps, jazz it up a bit, add some text to it, and, make it represent you. Don't just kind of be in the same sweaty selfie every day, because, people are going to see that and go right past it. So you want to make sure that every post is original and authentic to you and your audience. So when you stop for a moment and think about who exactly you're trying to reach out to, that's probably one of the most important things you can consider when posting on social media. So when you post your photos, think about who you want to see. Who do you want to connect to your photo? In other trainings that I've done, people have developed their own avatars in a way where you think of who is your ideal audience and will this post resonate with them? Will this post be something that will motivate them, inspire them, intrigue them to ask more questions? If you're just taking a picture of yourself and putting it up there and there's no value behind it, if you're not being vulnerable, if you're not including your thoughts or your emotions, or you just keep posting those same like inspirational quotes, that's not going to be something that reaches an audience on a level where they're going to say, you know what, I could really use Jess's help. Let me reach out to her. Because that's the idea behind using social media to grow your business, is because you're reaching out to an audience where you're going to make a genuine connection, where you can genuinely change their lives. So make sure your posts include thought, emotions, feelings, and you can let yourself be vulnerable and make sure they include you. So don't share somebody else's picture on your page because you thought it was great. Make it your own. You can certainly use other people's posts as inspiration for your own posts too. So some of the pictures are a little dated because I did do this over the summer when I was still pregnant. Initially, I did it with a mastermind group, and that's why I really wanted to share it with you guys. But, anywhere where you're asking questions and engaging other audience members, that's when you're going to get feedback. That's when you're going to get engagement. So you always want to be asking questions, asking for advice. One idea I loved is like a stop and drop Saturday or something like that. Because Saturdays, people aren't usually posting so much. Everyone's busy. But, stop and drop a selfie. Stop and drop your man crush. Stop and drop your view right now. Or stop and drop the last picture you took. Just to get people and other audience members filing to your page, because the more action you get on a post, we all hopefully know, it brings it back up from the Facebook graveyard and it doesn't get lost. Because a lot of the times, if you don't get engagement from your posts, it dwindles down and gets lost in the upcoming feed. Also, the more that people are interacting with your post, the more it shows up on their newsfeed. So when you start really funneling in and thinking about who you're attracting to your page, the more engagement you get from them, the more they're going to see you. So it gets people commenting, liking, starting new conversations. So when you have that engagement, when somebody answers your question, don't reply in the whole big group thing. Send them a private message. Start a conversation, because this is a great way to start an organic conversation where you're not going, hey, I have this new group starting. Do you want to join? No, it's actually coming from the engagement from your post. So they already showed that they have interest in having this conversation with you. So use that as a tipping point to start your conversation into fitness or health or however, or just to open up lines of communication with somebody new. Okay, so I wanted to share with you some non-Beachbody post examples because this is where I do get the most engagement when it's non-Beachbody related, but then I also always make sure to have those 5 rotating things where I have my sweaty selfies, my workout pictures, and my food pics, because that's what other people will see on that 30-second interview into your page. So the non-Beachbody post examples, and I did one actually today. If you go to my page and check it out, I did one about what you can get for your kids' Easter basket for the first time. And then I also did one about how you fly with formula, because that was a legit question. I have no idea what to expect with flying with a baby. But, you should see the engagement that I'm getting on those posts just because I asked a question. So some different examples. And again, these were pictures from a little bit ago, but I put up a picture. If you're dialing in, there's a picture of a bunch of different bathing suits, and I was looking for a maternity suit at the time, and so within an hour I had 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 comments, and that's, you don't see a whole lot of that unless you have an extreme amount of followers. So getting any kind of engagement like that just brings attention again to your page. So posting pictures of yourself, your family. The top right corner picture was right before the start of a school year, and I went to Target, and I was just like, oh, there goes my summer savings. You're Target, now you're even more rich. So these are just a couple examples of some non-Beachbody ones. This one, and I will tell you, try posting a picture of asking for help on a hairdo, because I was like, I put this up. It doesn't tell me, not an hour away. I had by the end of it, 65 comments on which hairdo I should do when I was looking to cut my hair. So, you can kind of see the engagement off to the side. Anything you ask people's opinion, people love to give their opinion on Facebook because they're hiding behind a screen, number one. So if they say something offensive, it's not like right to your face. But also, people just love sharing their opinion and giving you their advice. So again, just some non-Beachbody ones of me. There's my haircut. That's what I ended up going with. Again, this was last year. This was right before I was pregnant. This picture was taken. So pets. Pets is another big one. If you have cats, dogs, chickens, whatever you got, share it, because parrots, whatever, people who have, for me, this is an avenue that I would like to reach people on, is because I'm a huge dog lover and animal lover. So I wouldn't honestly want to connect with someone who posts things about not liking animals. We just wouldn't jive. So, that's why this is something that I always have on my page. There's always a picture of Newton floating around. This is my first baby. Okay, some other ones, pregnant pictures, people love that. But again, asking questions. Here's one picture of me when I was craving chocolate, and I asked, what do you do to satisfy your craving? I really love the Silk almond milk. But putting things out there, again, that really get people involved and talking to you through your feed is what's going to keep bringing those posts back up into rotation, and it's going to get people engaging on, to comment and interested in what you're doing and what your journey is. So even though this is a non-Beachbody one, I have one picture of the transition from me. Hello, this is my goal for this summer. Transitioning from not being pregnant to growing a baby bump. I also asked for mom advice. If you're a mom, I'm telling you, this is an avenue. Put out there that you need help with something, because moms love to help other moms in every way, shape, or form. So I've gotten a lot of feedback from other moms, and a lot of conversations of mine from current challengers and previous challengers are started because we just started communicating about maybe a struggle I was having or a question I had about a product. All of these things that just generate any kind of conversation are what you want to be sharing in your social media. Okay, so these are just a couple Beachbody inspired ones. So, you can talk about coaches, putting an outline as to what this has done for you. this is a big one for me. I try as much as I can to put quotes over top of pictures because I don't love just sharing a generic photo. I want people to see this quote. So this one in particular is work hard every day so tomorrow you wake up feeling like a badass. I want them to see me behind there, and I want them to correlate that quote with me, not with the stock image of the person, squatting 9,000 pounds. I don't want them to think of that person as a badass. I want them to think of me as a badass. So when I have those quotes that really inspire me, or I want to use as inspiration for other people, I always make sure that my face is the one that they see with that quote. So just another one, today, embrace your best self, post a 5 a.m. workout. Here are some other ones of me working out in the park, because that's my day-to-day life. So there's just, quotes with them. Again, putting myself with the quotes or with product placement inside my own pictures so that, again, when they see this representation of healthy, of fitness, I want them right away to say, health, fitness, direct line to Jess, because that's how I'm going to build my business. That's how I'm going to use my Facebook as my storefront to represent what I really stand for. Okay, so these are just a couple other ones like challenge group posts that I've done in the past. So you can go back and check these out in the recording if you want to. So I do have some do's and don'ts. So this is like the teacher in me, right? Okay, so do's. Be positive. That's the most important thing. Even in the moments when I'm struggling the most, and this is a lot of my personality, I have to say, I've always been a glass half full kind of girl. You want to be positive. You don't want to, bring other people down with your posts. Even when it can turn out to be a negative post to start, find a way to allow it to be interpreted as a positive post. Personally, I don't want to put out there negative vibes because I don't want to receive negativity back. So I'm putting out there things where I can get advice or help, and I'm asking questions. Again, including pics with yourself. And then here's a big one, commenting on your own posts. So don't throw something out there to your Facebook page, have people engage and comment, and then never reply to them or have any kind of discussion there. Because then it kind of looks like you weren't really asking for help. It looks like you were just looking to get some interaction. So the don'ts, obviously, don't be negative. Nobody wants a negative Nancy filling up their news feed. They're going to go block you right away. And the reason why is because even though, yes, on social media, it's often the highlight reel of our lives, it's important, like I said, to be vulnerable and share the struggles that you have, because that is in turn how you really relate to people. Is you have to be real. You have to be authentic to what's going on in your life, but don't turn that into a pity party and, wallow in your own sorrow. Nobody wants to be surrounded by that kind of energy. So negativity out the window, push it aside. Here's a big one for recently, posting political agendas. So you can be a very strong-minded, know everything you need to know about politics. The reason, and you can post if you want to. These are just my tips, remember. So if you feel very strongly about posting, here's the reason why. The reason why I suggest not posting to your political agenda is because people feel very strongly one way and people feel very strongly the other way. When you post on either side, what happens is you cut your audience in half. You automatically eliminate people because you're not going to sit well with them if you're posting all about your political agenda. Now, it's here or there, one thing or another, to engage conversation, sure. But that's not the kind of conversation I want to be having over my Facebook feed. I'm just going to put that out there. So that's my take on that. Don't also post just to post. Like I said, the impulsive, ADD me wants to throw up every single picture I take. It's like the most, difficult thing for me to hold on to a picture for more than an hour. So I know how that feels and how much you want to put it up because you think it's going to be great. But you want to really start thinking about the timing of your posts and when you should post. Also, don't argue back with people who respond. If they happen to post on your political agenda that they disagree, thank them for their opinion and agree to disagree. You can do that with pretty much anything. Just thank them. Thank you for what your thoughts are on that subject, and we're going to move on. Okay, so you don't want to fight back and forth and have that, again, goes back up to the negative feeling of your Facebook page. Okay, so Ashley, I lost you in my view, so I want to make sure. Are we okay on time still? It's 9 o'clock. Let me see, where are you?
Yes,
okay.
We're good. Keep going.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You're great.
All right, because I can ramble, I told you. So when to post. This is probably the second most important thing to consider other than the content of your posts, is finding your peak times. So each of us has a different prime time. Kind of like when you think about TV, when the best stuff is on TV, this is when you want to be posting your best stuff. So your prime time is going to be different than my prime time, depending on my audience. So if I'm trying to relate to brand new moms, I might start thinking about, okay, well, when's nap time for most kids? I'm going to post my most important one at nap time. If you are trying to reach out to working parents, or maybe you're looking to do a younger crowd who's getting married, you want to think about when they're going to be visiting their social media sites, because that's when you want your posts to be up in the forefront of their news feed. So play around with your posting time. Even, keep track of your engagement in your posts. Track when you got the most likes, when a post maybe was a dud and you didn't get any interaction. And start paying attention to the trends of those interactions and use that to really guide when your most important posts go up. So maybe, I put up 25 photos of Ev in a day. Okay, those aren't the ones that I'm really focusing on. I'm focusing on my business-related posts. I'm focusing on my engagement posts where I have questions and I'm really trying to get interaction. Those are the ones that I'm using in my peak times. So play around and start off by posting in a variety of different times. And then a big one is coming back and commenting on your own posts and responding to others. So the reason why I say to comment on your own post is because if you don't know this, by commenting or liking or going back and tagging yourself or tagging somebody else like your spouse, brings it back up to the top of your audience's news feed. So if you have a dud and you thought you posted it at a good time and you wish there would be more engagement, just go back in and like your own comment. Nobody really watches that you've liked your own comment. Kind of narcissistic, I guess. But, like your own comment, bring it back up to the top of the news feed. And that way you give it another chance for engagement. If there's no engagement in that post, I really ask you to kind of consider what that post was about, what the post looked like, and maybe consider why it didn't get any engagement. So you can always use that also to reflect on the content, image, whatever it is that you're posting. So don't post during bad times. So like midnight, I don't know about you, but I am either hopefully fast asleep or I'm up with Ev. So it depends on your audience. So, that has changed for me. Early morning, I'm up with the moms. So that's new to me as far as when to post. But like Saturday afternoons, not ideal. Not everybody is surfing the Facebook newsfeed. So you want to really think about that as an important piece of social media and when people are paying attention to you. So again, just commenting on your own post, waiting a few hours or a day or two even, and it pulls it back up to the newsfeed, and then comment during those peak times again so that it's up there ready for people to interact. Okay, so how to post and make it a variety. So you want to show yourself, not just Beachbody. So, Beachbody is a platform that we use to really be our own companies. And so, when you think about, oh gosh, horrible example that I just came to my mind. Okay. So when you think about like a coffee shop, okay, a coffee shop is a coffee shop. There's going to be coffee there. But that person who works there, who owns it, they put their own pride and joy in the ingredients that goes into their coffee, into the extra stuff they may offer other than coffee. So when someone thinks of Beachbody, you don't want them to have a blanket thought of how all of these coaches are alike. because this is your opportunity to really showcase who you are and why they should connect to you. So again, posting a variety of things, not the same exact thing every day. Maybe sharing a workout post, a nutritional post, a life post, your engagement post, and then a business opportunity post. All of these areas, when they come to your Facebook page, will show them that you're more than just Beachbody, because people need to connect with you and have an actual connection there. They need to have things in common, and they need to relate to you, because if they don't, that kind of relationship of challenger and coach isn't necessarily always going to work. How not to Beachbody vomit. This is a big one. I did this now that Facebook does that going back. I don't know if any other coaches who have been doing it for a little while, when you get to see, I started 3.5 years ago as a coach, and I get those flashbacks of 3.5 years ago. Oh my Lord, if I could go back and tell myself of what not to do. You don't want to share stock images of Shaun T. This was one that came up for me, of T25, Shaun T. There he is. Great. Okay. So then somebody went to the Beachbody site and bought Shaun T's Beachbody program because that's what I was showcasing. Well, not anymore. So that's another reason why I say to put your picture with your quotes and your workout photos, because again, you don't want them to think of Shaun T. He's great. He's fantastic. But you want them to think of you, and you want them to relate to you and know, okay, fitness, nutrition, goals equals Jess. That's what you want in the forefront of your Facebook feed. So posting your own workout videos, your own pictures of your meals, what you're eating, what you're drinking, sharing your challengers and your team's success and results, all of these things that can really lead back to you. So not to anybody else, right? Again, here's my throw in for exude excitement, positivity, and leadership. Okay, you don't want to be that Debbie Downer from Saturday Night Live. She's a funny character, but that doesn't, you don't want people to correlate that with you. So if you come back to this video, I won't read it verbatim, but if you're on dialing in, I put up some keywords and some no-nos. Okay, so some keywords that you might want to use are things like mentoring, fitness, nutrition, support, accountability. You really don't want to talk about buying something. Purchase this. You don't want to use stock images, like I said. You don't want to put prices up in your posts or say something is on sale because it really it makes you seem like your only intent is to sell. And, that's not our mission. That's not why we're coaches, and that's not why this business has been such a blessing to so many people, is because we're honestly in it to genuinely help people. The money is obviously a goal and, enough drive for people, but you don't want them to feel like you're selling to them. You want them to think of you, your journey, your story, and how you are getting past your own struggles through your Facebook feed, through your Instagram feed, because it's not about the sale. And we all know that. It doesn't come down to just the Success Club points. It comes down to so much more than that. So you don't want them to feel like that's all you're after. Also, don't post your link to sign up. Now, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm starting this great, accountability group where I can mentor you in your fitness and nutritional journey, and then go and post your link and say, sign up below. It really makes it impersonal. And, you're really not having that initial conversation with people about their goals and how you're going to help them achieve that. And that's how you really build a relationship. Okay, so I'm going to skip past this part because these are just some other examples. And then I just want to kind of quickly go over Instagram. So I don't have like a full screen up. How many of you are familiar with Instagram? Just going to see. Okay. So Instagram, I'm certainly not a professional, and I should have started off with, I'm not a professional at Facebook either, but this is just something that's really helped me build my business, so that's why I share about it. Instagram is just another way to get into another population of people, just a different population. So what's different from Facebook to Instagram is it's a quicker snapshot at a glance through photos. So nobody really goes to your page and clicks on each picture the way Instagram does it and reads each caption. So you want your Instagram profile to really be more of a snapshot into your life. So, you know, you want to have, like, here's a video of me working out. Here's me drinking my water in Shakeology with my that was pregnant hair. Here's my pregnant belly. Here's a nice quote. So I will use some generic quotes and things like that. And I tend to use some funnier pictures to kind of grab people's attention and show off my personality more on Instagram, because it really is just a quick snapshot. Hashtag ability is also really important with Instagram. Allows you to reach a bigger population of people by generating some new hashtags. And if you don't know about hashtags, we can talk, but that's just something I'll mention. And then if you're also going back, I'm not going to read it to you. But these are just 4 reasons why Instagram helps you build your business. I have gotten, I think, 3 discount coaches off of Instagram and a couple of customers just because of having this second platform of social media. So it invites users to kind of window shop your business, who you are and what you represent. It takes people behind the scenes and gives you a little bit more of an intriguing look. So you can really kind of show your personality off a little bit more, I feel like, in Instagram. You can offer exclusive benefits and things like that to maybe a certain group that you're starting. And now there's the Instagram stories on the top. So I've gotten a lot of interaction by using the Instagram stories. And if you want to follow me, I think I'm under Coach Jess Bryson. I probably should know that, but let me see. Yeah, Coach Jess Bryson, if you want to find me and kind of see what I have posting on there. And again, it just makes your business more personable to a different population of people. So I just put together, like, these are a couple snapshots of my actual account. So I've got food pictures, I've got quotes with me working out, just different things that people might see and relate to. And for each of these photos, I've used hashtags that help me just draw in more of a population. So this is just about the hashtag. You can Google a hashtag generator if you're new to hashtagging, which I had no idea what that was, but it can help you come up with some that help you reach a different population. So you don't want to be doing like hashtag Fitspo, because that has, like, I don't know, 4 million different photos. So you want to come up with some original hashtags that will draw people in, but also using, you know, ones a little bit more specific to you, or whatever the picture might be. So if you don't follow a lot of coaches, like top coaches on Instagram, I suggest that you do, just because it's really a great way, again, to get some inspiration for posts that you can be sharing. So, like, I just put up a picture of, like, Christina Delgado, Melanie Mitro, Chelsea Pearson, you know, different ones that I follow. So I think that might be it. So let me stop sharing my screen. I can figure that out, because that's always the difficult part. Let's see, stop share. Okay, so that was really I know I talk super fast and I have a lot to say about social media, but truthfully, my business, I want to say, is 98% from social media. So as much as, you know, you might have fears about posting, or, you know, fear of judgment, or wondering what people are going to think of you, I dropped that a long time ago. You know, personal story, you know, my brother and my sister-in-law stopped following me because they own a CrossFit gym and they were really tired of seeing my Beachbody posts. So, you know, there are going to be people who decide not to follow your journey. But for that population who's ready and looking for a change and looking for a difference, you want them to connect with you through your story and through your journey. And, you know, so put yourself out there. It can be hard. You can get feedback that you don't always love, but for more than that kind of feedback, I get an overwhelming amount of support. And, you know, I think that hands down just confirms that I'm doing the right things. So I hope it wasn't like so much information or too much, or it wasn't too repetitive from things you've already talked about, but that's what I have.
That was awesome, Jessica. Tons of great info. I do have a question.
Sure.
Facebook like page. Do you have one?
You know, I do. There was a time when, oh gosh, who was it? Somebody created some kind of like storm of you had to have a like page or else that, Beachbody was going to come after your business or Facebook was going to shut you down. I forget who it was, one of the top coaches. So I created one then thinking, okay, sounds like a good time to transition into the like page. Some people have great success with it. I personally found that I did not. So I just went back to posting on my own page. We have one girl on our team who is the Fit Farmer's wife, Alicia, and she has incredible success with her like page. It draws in people that she's trying to attract. So I think you kind of have to put your feelers out there. You do have to really generate new followers and get people to follow that page, whereas on your personal page, it's more of just extending to your already there network. So I think that was a difficult piece for me, was really trying to put it out there and, get more followers, get more likes. And I just didn't get as much traction. I do still post occasionally to that page, like when I have challenge groups coming up, because you can, one thing I should have mentioned is you can promote your groups, your posts on Facebook. So if you run Facebook ads, I run them through that page to draw in more of an audience and to get more of a response, because it is more of a representation of the fitness aspect of things. So it's kind of a personal preference. If you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to invest in advertisement and drawing in an audience, then I say go for it. But I've had the most success from my personal page. If that helps.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Y'all, let's open it up for questions for Jessica. Just unmute yourself.
Did I talk too fast?
No, you didn't. It was awesome. I loved, it's like, you can be doing this. I've been doing this for 5.5 years. And, every time I get on a call with somebody and they share their experience, I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's like this. Yeah, okay. So anyway, awesome. Amy, okay, let's see.
I'm laying down and I was really having an awesome hair day, and I don't know when it stopped being awesome, but it's not
8:30. Awesome. I swear it's right at 8:30.
So my question is, I might have just missed this because I was transitioning from the phone to this, but what was your time frame again, like where you felt like you were building, where you went from being a liker of Beachbody and then really you're developing your coaching and then seeing it like get to whatever level you're at? Because I was kind of just getting hooked up here when that part happened.
Yeah, I'd say probably it took me a good 6 months in to realize that I shouldn't be posting like those. Is that what you're referring to, like the stock images? And it was more so transitioning to showing myself and my story. Is that what you mean, Amy?
Well, and like your rank advancement, like where you felt like where it took off, it blossomed, and people kind of like past the stage of using the stock photos, where like your real where your business really took off in terms of really gaining a lot of customers and coaches.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, fortunately, like that kind of started somewhat earlier. I'd say 6 to 8 months in is when I found I reconnected with two people who are my two amazing rock star coaches. I connected with Courtney Bertos Barnett and Danielle Lob. I always want to say Labe, but Lob. I know her as Danielle Knight, so that's who I grew up with. But when I connected with them about 6 to 8 months in, that's when I was transitioning from Emerald to Diamond. And then I guess I've been floating between 2 and 3 stars at took about 2 years, I want to say. And then 3-star was back maybe a couple months ago, something like that. So, there was definitely progression. And in the beginning for me, it was more so just about encouraging other challengers to come on. I didn't realize the business opportunity to offer to other people. I started only just a couple months after Rose. So she's my coach. So we were flying, under Lisa's radar, trying to figure out what we were supposed to be doing with Lisa. She was mentoring us the whole way through the beginning. So I'd say once I realized that I could, let me just turn the light back on, that I could offer a coaching opportunity to someone, that's when my business changed, honestly, because I already had this great connection with so many people that I had as challengers for 6 months. I was strictly challengers and customers. So Danielle and Courtney were both challengers of mine. Danielle did T25 and Courtney was kind of new to Shakeology, and we talked about the discount. And all of a sudden, boom, I have some business partners. So for me, it took probably 6 months of building a strong customer base and a challenger base and running challenge groups. And then once I had people who were getting results, that's when my coaches kind of just naturally started to progress.
That's where I'm working on the posts, and then just also working on, I feel like I have this really great group of challengers, and then just I didn't make the process of transitioning people into being a working coach.
Right. And it takes time.
Yeah, I just didn't do a great job. I mean, fortunately, they're still hanging in there as challengers, and they're always the best at posting in the group.
Yeah. Well, what you can do, Amy, too, is something I've done in my challenge groups is I give them tasks. So I ask who can be a coach of the day for like the last week and who can help inspire other people. And you can do it throughout your entire challenge group is, assign one day to a person to help inspire and lead the group. And that's when you can get a lot of people who are like, oh, this is fun, helping other people stay motivated. It's just one way to kind of bring out the coach and really see who kind of takes on that task and, might be interested in coaching. And I always just remind people, it's all about sharing. If you have great results or if you're really enjoying this challenge group, can you share it with 3 friends and invite them to our next group? Because by naturally, getting other people involved and not having to go after them yourself, they're hearing a reference from somebody else who they know and trust. So, anything you can do to bring people's friends and friends of friends on board, that just helps you expand your network. Sometimes like in my last day of our challenge group, we just did, I said, refer a friend as a prize. So you get a prize for every friend you refer that starts a conversation with me. Again, it's just another way. And then you can even say, wow, you have 10 people who are ready to sign up. Why don't we put them underneath you? And, I can really help guide you. But, for just telling them about it, why don't you get the credit? Yeah. And then, then they see a paycheck and they're like, oh, this is awesome. Just by sharing my story. So that's how I've gotten some people to transition, if that helps.
That's very helpful. Yeah, I'm going to do those things. Thank you. I got somebody wanted to be in the.
Aww.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hopefully that helps, Amy.
You talk fast, but it's not so fast that I couldn't hang on to the information. So thank you.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
I'll mute myself again. All right.
Anybody else? Oh, great info.
Thanks, Marianne.
Awesome. Okay, I guess if there are no more questions, thank you so much, Jessica. I know you're so busy. Such great info. Do you happen to have is this on a Google slide?
Yeah, it is. So I can share that.
That'd be awesome. Great.
The techie in me has to really figure that out, but I know I can share it. There's a way, so I'll figure it out.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Everybody have a good night. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.